Welcome to this part of video. In this video I will be explaining different types of sequence data types. So let me give the heading first. So we will be discussing sequence data types. Okay. So what are the different types of sequence data types? So first that type of data type is your list. Okay, so first data type is your list. So what is a list? So basically lists are used to store multiple items. Okay, multiple items in a single variable. So in the last part of the video, if you see, in a single variable we have stored only one value, that is floating value, integer value or a string character, but list is a data type in which you can store multiple items in a single variable. Okay. So lists are one of the 4 built-in data types in Python. So what are the 4? One by one we will be seeing the first. So let us first see how you can create one variable that is a list. So I will write a list. So just a variable name I am giving. So a list is a variable name that is equals to, it is written inside of a square brackets. Okay. So inside of square brackets, how do you write? So one type of data types, that is I will write here, let's say apple. Okay, and then you have to give a comma. You can write in double quote, you can write in single quote as well. Let's say another variable, let's say banana. Okay, another comma I will give and I will write cherry. So what I am doing is I am here declaring a list. Okay, so after this we will just print the variable. Okay, we will see that what output it gives. So see here, now it is giving me the output as apple, banana, cherry are the list. Now let us see, if I just remove these quotes, then what will happen and how the list is taking. So if I remove the quotes here and run it, so see it is giving me an error. Okay, why error? Because list cannot take direct these characters, it has to be given inside a quote. Okay, so for that the quotes are necessary. Okay, now let us do one thing. Instead of single quote, let us see, if I give a double quote, then what will happen to the list. So in a double quote I will write apple, then comma, in the double quote I will write banana. Okay, let us try with this 2 only. So if I run this now, you see again it is the same output is giving. That means you enter it within a single quote or you enter in a double quote, it is going to give you the same value. Now if I print what is the type of this variable, so type of the variable, what type of the variable? List. See, it is giving me the output, the type of the variable is a list here. Okay, so next is your, what is the list? When you say that list are order, order means what? We'll see. So when you see the list are order, it means the item have defined order and the order will not change. So every time you want to access, you can access the list with this order and it cannot be changed. Okay, the order cannot be changed, but list is changeable. Okay, so list is changeable, meaning that we can change, add, remove in a list. Okay, means you can add more item to the list also and you can change the item of the list also. So in a list you can change the item, you can add some more items. And another point of your list is that it is duplicate, means you can give duplicate values. So let me just copy it. So new one, if I write and comma, if I write here again apple. Okay, so duplicate value I have given. Now let us just print this list. So see, multiple values or duplicate values can also be taken in your list. Okay, now what is the length of a list. How do we know what is the length of a list? So for that, how do you know the length of a list? So here I'll just instead of printing the list, I'll print what I want to print. I want to print the length of the list. So I'll write len function is used to know length of the list, and then I'll just pass the variable that is the list. Okay, now let us see what it is giving. So see here, the length of the list is 3. That means list contains 3 variables. Okay, so it is the length is not the individual characters inside the list, it is the individual elements inside the list. Okay, so now in a list, what type of values you can give? So here I have what type of value I have given? I have given only the character or the string values. So the list also can take other variables as well. So other variables as well means I can declare a list which is type, we can take 1, 2, 3. Okay, list is square bracket. Yeah, I can take a this one also, and I can just print this. So it is giving me the values 1, 2 and 3. Here you can take integer type variables as well, and you can take any other type of variable, floating point variables also you can take. So let us just see 1.0 if I write, now it becomes floating point variable, right? So 2.0 and 3.2, let's say anything we can take. Now if I run the code, it is taking different types of variables. Now let us make it that 2 are float, 1 is integer. Let us see what happens. It can take that also. Let us take another example here. At last I will give one, let's say one character or one string if I give. Now you see the list also can take different type of variables in a single list. Means the list is not limited to collection of one type of data type. It can take input different types of data types. Okay, so now what we have learned, lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. When I say multiple items, it is also multiple type of data types also it can take as input. So it can be a combination of strings, it can be combination of string and integer, it can be combination of string and integer and floating point and boolean variable as well. So it can take all the type of inputs. Okay, so basically with list there is another type of item is also there. So one is called tuple. So tuple will come to the next point. What is another type of variable that can store multiple values or multiple items. So that will come to we'll see later. Now see, as I have told, list is what? List is your mutable. Mutable means what? You can change the value in a list. So how do I change the list? So first of all, let's say a list is mine. I have created a variable a list. Now how do I print a particular value of the list? So if I want to change a particular value, I need to know that how to access any particular value. So if I write let's say a list, and in bracket if I write only 1, okay, see what it is giving. So it is giving 2.0. that means it is giving me the second value. So if a list is already declared, and if you pass this variable, pass this function a list, and in square bracket if you write 1, then what it is doing, it is just printing the second variable in the list. That means the index starts from 0, 1 and 2. So here if I write again, instead of 1 if I write 2, so it will give me the value a, that is the third variable in the list. Okay, now let us see if I give 3, then what happens to the answer? So it is showing that index error. Index error, what is the index error? So it is saying list index out of range. That means number of elements available in the variable a list is not same as the variable you are asking to see. Okay, so that's why you cannot take 3. So if I write 0 here, then it will give me the first variable. Also there is another option if I write -1. Okay, so -1, what it is printing? the last element of the list. If I write here -2, then what it will print? It will print the last second element. And if I print -3, if I write -3, then it will print the last third element. So remember, if you go from the from left to right, then it is 0, 1, 2. If you come from right to left, then it starts as -1, -2 and -3. Okay. Now let us see how do we change a list. So we'll see how to change element in a list. Okay. So how do we change the element of list? Let us see. So let's say this list is already there, and instead of writing 1.0 here, I want to insert a floating point or the integer value or any other value I want to include here. So if I write a list, the first element, how do I denote that? As 0, and I will change that is equals to, let's say I will give a string here, and the string here is, let's say, one character, multiple characters, that is a string. After giving this input, again if I print the list, then let us see what is the output here. So now you see the list is, the first element of the list is changed to now this character or the string that I have given. Okay, so this is how you can change the value of any value of a list. You can change multiple values as well. So one by one you can do that. Again, after this, what function is there? I said you can add elements to the list. Okay, so how do you add element to the list? So that means whenever, if I say I want to add one element to the list, so this is the existing list. Now for me, this is the existing list here. I want to add one other element into the list. That means it will be added after the last variable. It cannot be added at the middle. It will always be added at the last of the list. That means wherever the previous element ends, after that the new value can be added here. Okay, so already we have this list, and what we will do, we need to add one more variable or more element to the list. So for that, one function is there called as append. And how do you use that? So I'll write a list. Okay, this is the variable existing, and I'll write dot append. Okay, so if I write dot append, and what I want to append, I need to give that variable also. Let's say I'll give one string here, and I'll give one fruit name, that is apple. Okay, so now after this, again we'll print the list. So see what is happening here. Now previously the list was m classes 2.0 and a. Now what is the list? M classes 2.0, a, and apple is added to the list. Okay, so this is how you can add a list to a list. Okay, so this is the thing where you can add one element to the list. Now there is another option also how we can do this. This is called the append function, and there is another function, that is insert. Okay, so now my list is here, so which has 4 elements. So instead of append, if I write here insert, so insert means what? You are going to insert some value in a existing list. Okay, so if I say insert, then I need to tell that at what position I need to install. Okay, insert. Okay, so let's say I want to insert at position number 1. That means m classes is position number 0, 2 is the position number 1. So if I want to add one element, so that should be in the position number 1. Then here in the insert function, I need to write here 1. Okay, so I'll just make it bigger so that it will be easily visible. Okay, yeah, so if I write here 1 now, and then comma, so I'll write here another variable name or any element I want to include. Let's say I'll write that Python. Okay, now that means what I am doing here, I am inserting one element to the existing list on the position 1. So let us see what output it is giving. So now you see in the position 1, the Python string is inserted here. Okay, now instead of we're using 1 here, if I write here 3, then let us see what happens. So already the list variable is created, so at the position 3 it is inserting one more variable. Okay, so this is how the insert, you can insert one variable or one element into a list. So next is how you can remove. If you can add a variable to the list, then you can remove the variable from the list as well. Okay, so let's say how to do that. So simple, so there is a list. Okay, so simple, I'll write from the list I need to what, I need to remove. So a dot list dot remove, a underscore dot remove, and I need to tell what to remove, which element to remove. I need to name that element. Okay, so how do I give that? So let's say I want to delete this 2.0, so here I'll write 2.0. okay, and then I'll print the list again. Okay, so now let us see what happens to the output. So see, if the 2.0 is now removed from the list. So in this way you can add a element, you can insert a element, and you can remove a element from the list. Okay, so next is that loop through a list, means how you can use the loop function for a list. Okay, so how to do that? So let's say the list is there. Okay, and I need to print the values separately one by one. So how do we do that? If you want to access one by one values, then you need to use the for loop. Okay, so see here, to print one particular value or to access one particular value, we have used this one, right? A list, and in bracket I am giving the position. Let's say instead of this I want to print one by one and all the elements should be printed. So for that, what I can do, my list is existing here, so I'll use a for loop here. So I'll use looping concept I will explain in separate video, but for this time being, how you can access the bit by bit element of your list, that I am going to do. So I'll write for one variable that is x in what, in the list, x in list. So what we are going to do for x in a list? Okay, so here you have to remember, when you write a for loop you have to give a colon, and when you press the enter, then it should come with this syntax, means it should come from start from this point, not from the starting point, or else you will get indentation error. Okay, now what I will do, I will print the x. So now let us see what happens. So if I am doing this, then it is printing the individual values of the list. Okay, so for x in a list, that means x in the variable list, and then we are printing the variable. So it will print from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many variables there, it will automatically print it. Okay, okay, so next is sorting your list. How do you sort the list? Okay, if a list is there and you want that the list should be sorted alphabetically or something like that, how do you do that? So it is also simple. We have a list, that is a list, so I'll write a underscore list. Okay, what I want to do, I want to sort this list. So dot sort and function. Okay, so what it will do, it will sort the list for me alphabetically. Let us see. I'll print this again, and what is the output you see here? So you just compare this output here. Once again, I will just make it smaller so that both will be visible. Yeah, so see here, first is M classes, then it has kept A here. Okay, and then Apple, then Python, and Python is repeated, so again Python is there. Okay, so like this you can sort one your list. Okay, so basically what it does, list object sort, means sort function is used, that will sort the list alphanumerically ascending by default. It does it alphanumerically. Okay, so this is how the list works. So let us just try another with the same list. Let's create another list, b underscore list. I'll take another list, and here to the list what I'll do, I'll give numeric value, so it will be easy to understand. So 1, 3, 2, 7 comma 6, sorry, okay, so 1 comma 3 comma 4 comma 6 comma 7 comma 90 comma 2 comma 4. Okay, let's say this is a list and I want to sort this list. So what I'll do, b underscore list, that is my variable. I want to do the sorting operation, dot sort, and this is the function for that, and then I'll just print the list again. Okay, so see here the list entry is 1, 3, 2, 6, 76, 92 and 4. Now if I do the sort operation, then what list it is printing? So it is quite different from what I have entered, right? So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 6, 76, 90. So it is sorting by default in a in the ascending order. Now if you want the sorting should be in the descending order. So these are the very important functions to be used in data science. You need to sort your data values, it can be used there. Okay, so now let us see, I want to sort this list in a descending manner. So how do you do that? So descending manner means it is just a reverse process. So for that I need to write here reverse, and reverse equals to true. So this is the by default syntax for this. So if I write here true, false, then reverse will not happen. If I write here 2, then the reverse will happen. So now see here, the output is 90, 76, then 6, then 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. So it is doing it in the reverse way. So if we do not give any kind of argument inside the sort operation, then what will happen? By default it will take the ascending order. If you want to make it in the descending order, then you need to write reverse equals to 2. So let us see, if I write here reverse equal to false, then what is happening? Okay, now see, it is making it in the ascending order, but if you want descending order, you have to write true here. Okay, so it will sort this in the true descending order. Okay, so next is, how can you copy this list? Means copy the list to another one. So to copy this list, let's say we have a b underscore list. Okay, so this is there. Okay, so this is the list. Now I want that this list should be copied to another one. So how can you copy? So let us see, can you write just equals to, is it working? So I'll write c underscore list equals to b underscore list, and I'll print the c underscore list. Okay, let us see whether it is working or not. So see, it is working. So b list is here and c list is equals to b underscore list. So simply it is working. There is also another function, you can write dot copy function also you can use, but as it is not required, so no need to do that. Okay, so next is, as I said, as I have discussed already, the list can be changed or mutable. So you can add values to a list, you can add remove values from a list. Now let us see that whether can you add two lists. If I have list 1 and if I have list 2, so can they be added? So let us see that. So for that, let me declare two list. So I'll just, for that I'll simply write list 1. I have one list, so that is equals to, I'll give the characters there, only characters there. Okay, so b and c. Okay, so this is one list for me, and then I'll declare another list, that is list 2 equals to, I'll give only numeric values here 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are the two lists I have created. Now what I want to do is, I need another list which is combination of these two lists. Okay, so then I'll take another list that is equals to list 1 plus list 2. So what it will do? It will do this list and this list will be added here. So first for the list 3 there will be 6 elements, from which the first 3 will be the character ABC and the second 3 will be the 1, 2, 3 numeric values. So let us see. Okay, now I have to print the list 3 as well. So here if I print the list 3, you can see A, B, C, then 1, 2, 3. So 2 lists are added here. Okay, so this is all about lists here, and there are different functions we have used. What are those? Append, then copy, then insert, then remove, then reverse, then sort. So there are some other functions as well. You can go through them one by one. Okay, so this is about the list one type of sequence operator, and in the next video I will explain what is tuple and what experiments or what functions you can do with a tuple. Okay, so keep watching for the next video.